Good evening, or good morning, actually, everybody. It has been a while. It has been a while. It has been a while, but I had to take a break. Um, I had to take a break, and I am back. And today I will be talking about new chapters. What does it look like? What does it mean? Um, and this is a general. It's literally an open dialogue discussion. It's nothing really planned. But it's just been a few things that I've noticed over the last few months, and I just kind of want to address them. Because a lot of people, I'll start off with politics just to get this out of the way. um, a lot of people don't understand politics. A lot of people don't understand politics, and this is why we had the law, the separation of church and state, because religion has always tried to control country. Um, we literally in history have a known religious wars, but if you really think about it, all of the wars that we have had has always been about religion. Um, People wanting to know who's right and who's wrong. Um, this person disrespected me because of my religion and I'm going to get them back. All of the wars has always been a religious war. And religion has this way of making people feel like they need to control others. And that is where that twisted line of religion comes into play. This is why I tell people I'm not religious at all, because if we're talking about religious things, we're talking about the way that people, let's see, want to have some sort of umption that they are the chosen one next to Jesus Christ. And when you get that ideation and you mix it with um, narcissism, it becomes really twisted. It can become very dark. It can become very evil. And that's what a lot of people are starting to see in our government. And it's because of people playing with wordplay. Let's be real. It's wordplay, it's manipulation, it's trickery, it's falsehood. And people in our country, the United States, vote based off of religious practices. Plain and simple. And the problem with that is that someone can tell you, oh my gosh, I love the Lord. And let me tell you about what is happening with the Lord. And God is blessing me. Oh my gosh, God is blessing me so much right now. I think I've been sent here for an appointed time, an appointed moment for a time such as this. And they know how to use all the key words. They know how to make it pop with their voices. It's called tonality. They know how to reel you in with their words. And the whole entire time they are serving the devil. The whole entire time, and we've seen it over social media, not even just social media, but in the news, for years, about how certain mega preachers have preached the gospel all this time, and then when their dirty secrets come out, then it's hushed, then they don't have nothing to say, and nobody addresses these things. And if people do address them, they're known as, oh, you're spreading gossip, you're spreading lies. But is it though? There was a few years ago, I want to say, and then even last year, I talked about how God was going to start uncovering some things for some people. And a lot of people have been uncovered. A lot of people have been uncovered in the things that they do. And it's time for us to stop ignoring these things. It's time for us to address them. No, we were not. We're tired of the hush hush money. Now you got up and publicly stated that you are a man or woman of God, and but your actions are not showing that. Why is this person saying that you did X, Y, and Z? Why did we get you into an office based off of your Christian values, and now you're not doing anything Christian like? It is the trickery of it all. And that's why politics and Christianity have this backhanded, twisted, manipulative way about them. And I don't care what anybody else has to say. It's time for us to stop ignoring these things and start addressing these things. Now, for those of you, if you're new to this channel, and I do not apologize for not welcoming you, because I had to jump right in because this is a dire matter. But I am a prophet, I am a seer, and I am much more than that. I will say that openly and live right now. And so, anytime I have an option to do something, anytime my day is disrupted for me to make a video, I'm going to do it. Why? Because that means that there is something in the atmosphere that needs to be broken. That means that there is something in this world that is that there's a shade over your eyes, and you're looking and you say, oh, I see clearly, I see clearly. And the whole entire time you're looking like this, with a complete shade over your eyes, not seeing the truth for the truth, but you'll rather see the lie as truth because you'll rather lie to yourself than to accept the truth. That is why people sometimes dress inappropriately, say things inappropriately, because they say, oh, well, it's not hurting nobody else. It's not hurting me. I can do this and I can do that. No, it is an image thing for you. And if we're supposed to be in the image of Christ, we have to start really seeing and recognizing what exactly that image is. That image isn't a thing of control. Jesus never tried to control anybody. Jesus didn't have to control anybody. Jesus didn't have to have a dictatorship mentality. And there's a lot of preachers who have that same mentality. There are a lot of Christians that have that same mentality. There are a lot of people that have that same mentality who are not Christian. And let me say this, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it over and over again until there is a change in our atmosphere. That if you have to control, if you have to manipulate, if you have to lie and scheme to get something, that means there's something wrong with you from the inside part, because you shouldn't have to do that to get what you want. If God is your provider, know that God will provide, and you don't have to lie, trick, and scheme and manipulate to get those things. The minute you do, you're telling the world that you are not a child of God, that you're not going to act. Okay, I was just, thank you. You are a child of God, but you're not acting like a child of God. Let me put it that way. I was corrected. Um, Now, whether you turn your back and go into the schemes of this world where you measure yourself by the measurements of this world, you will continue to do the things that you've always done. You will continue to rub people the wrong way. You will continue to push people away from you. You will continue to trick and then bolster yourself up by the lies of your own tongue. The Bible talks about how wicked this tongue is, and it is a wicked thing. It is a tool for disruption and death, but it also has the power of life as well. And so when we can speak life into these things, we can understand how to separate religion from the government. We need to pray for those in leadership, yes, but it's time for the Christian folk to understand that just because somebody get up there and talk about Jesus and have a Bible, that does not necessarily mean that they are Christian. Remember, Satan was in heaven with the rest of those angels. Remember, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And how does Satan do that? By manipulating people, by tricking people, and by lying to people. Satan has always known that the best way to get to a person is by their mind. So if I can trick your mind, if I could trick you into seeing things that's not really there, if I can trick the narrative, then I can use religion against you. I can use the word of God against you. And that is what's happening in this time. Next topic. Parents, let your children grow up. Stop trying to control them. Stop trying to control every little movement. This topic actually was going to be a standalone topic, but even when I began to do this video, it came back to the forefront of my mind. So it let me know it has to be released now. Because what's happening is, parents, you are telling your children that they can do and be anything in the world. And they believe that growing up. And then they hit their teens, and then it's like, now there's an extension. The fine print was, as long as it was under my control. And when you control your kids to that point, that is when they start to buck up. Because this whole entire time you talk to them about being free, about being themselves, about doing things that makes them happy, they're still developing into the person that they are meant to become. When you restrict them, when you try to control every movement, when you try to control the things um, in their overall life, what you're doing is you're telling them, I don't trust you. I don't want you to become the person that you're meant to become. I don't want you to have too much freedom. I want you to understand the implications of slavery, honestly. And I'm not saying that you're treating your children as slaves, but it's that slave mentality that I can't do unless my parents say. I've been in several presence of college students, um, where when you're in college, you should be able to comprehend and do things on your own. You should be able to have the ability to advocate for yourself. Let me say it that way. There's a lot of students that don't. They look to each other to make a decision. They call their parents, "Hey, should I buy new shoes?" And I can openly say that that was me at one point. I needed new shoes when I was in college, but I was afraid to buy shoes. Why was I afraid to buy shoes? Because I grew up in a home where money flow was oftentimes restricted. And so it became apparent that, oh, if I buy shoes, then I may not have money to do anything with. But I wasn't paying rent at the time. I wasn't paying any bill except for my phone bill at the time. But I was worried and afraid to buy shoes that I know I needed. And there were times when I would buy shoes even after college. And this is no shame on my mother. But my mom used to be, every time I turn around, you're buying shoes. And that wasn't the case. I would literally wear a pair of shoes out to where the rubber was no more. Like you could see the inside of the sole. That's how long I would wear shoes. So I started buying more shoes so that I can have a variance so that I'm not wearing one pair of shoes to the soles, literally. And so parents, I I'm not going to plead to you. I'm just going to let you know. You have to allow your children to grow. You have to understand why they do things before you give advice. See through their lens first before you try to chastise. It may not make sense to you, but I guarantee if you have that conversation first, you can see how and why they are thinking the way that they are, so that if there is anything that needs to be corrected, it will. There are often times in public health, and I've worked in public health for years, where we have laws and policies in place for people, but it's not made by the people who live that experience. And so the problem that we're having is that the people who are in the lived experience, they complain to us, why is it so hard to get what I need? Why is it so hard for me to contact this person? Why is it so hard to get um you know a way for me to get from point A to point B? And it's because people in offices who have never lived that experience or worked in the communities are making decisions, making the laws. So they have this misconception, oh, this person is lazy. They don't really want to do their job. No, the person literally had an accident 2 weeks ago. They physically cannot do their job. They're trying their best, but they haven't been working. So yes, they're kind of stressed about how they're going to pay their bills. They're kind of stressed on how they're going to keep a roof over their head. And oftentimes people say, oh, well, go to church and pray. But let's face it, when you're in the thick of things, prayer is not the thing that comes to your mind first. It is how am I going to get through this? How can I help fix this? And until they get to the point of having that faith, don't suggest it, because faith is something that we can all have and aspire to have, but faith is also a tool that is built. It has to be built within somebody. Everybody don't just come here with faith, with that now faith. Let me even go to that. With that now faith thing, things happen willingly, because no, it is a learned thing, especially if they are new to the life of Christianity, true Christianity, that is, the life of a true life changer, right? These things are not going to come like ABC. Children don't come here talking in a way that we can comprehend. No, they have to learn these things. That is the same way with faith. Okay, now going back. So, parents, stop being these dictators and these rulers and these lawmakers of your home, these policy makers in your home, without you understanding what your child is going through. Now, will children make mistakes? Yes. Will they do some dumb things? Yes. That's because they're children. They have to learn what's right. They have to make a few mistakes before going to the right direction. And if you truly look at it, that's how life is anyway. Even as a parent, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to always get it right. And don't make your child believe that. When you know that you've been in the wrong, let your child know that you were in the wrong. Apologize to your children. That way, they'll know what not to do when they become a parent. That way, they'll know how to be the example that you gave them. And a lot of parents don't do that. And then a lot of children say, well, I don't want to be nothing like my parent. And then they not only do the opposite, but they do the extreme opposite. That meaning they either restrict too much or they give too much freedom to a child. Because let's face it, there are some boundaries that you're supposed to give to your children, but I know some people who don't give their children any boundaries. And that's unsafe for them, because They feel like they could do anything without any repercussions. And then on the other hand, they feel so restricted that they don't know how to make decisions for themselves. So you have to allow your children to grow. You have to allow your children to flourish on their own. And I know it can be scary, especially with a lot of things that's happening, but it is true. And now the last thing I want to address is attitudes. The in the current job that I have, I've seen so many people, but I have also seen a lot of negative and bad attitudes towards others. There was one week where, I kid you not, it seemed like every Christian that I met had a bad attitude. Hi, ma'am, how was your day? I'm fine. I had a bad day. I'm just not interested. Hi, ma'am, how are you doing? Was the words. Did you have to snap at that person? No. I met a lady yesterday and she had a very beautiful smile, honestly. And I didn't notice anything about it. I was just like, ma'am, you have a very beautiful smile. And she said, and she stopped and she turned around and she said, thank you. I needed to hear that because I was just in an accident and I'm banged up and bruised up. And she began to show me her bruises. I didn't see them before. I noticed her smile. She said, I needed to hear that because I'm going through some things right now. And I was having a really bad day. And along with these bruises and trying to make sure I look good, she said, I really needed that for me. So you don't know what anybody is going through. And she could have easily snapped at me as well, but she didn't. She chose to be the opposite of what she was feeling. And when she really heard me, she realized that she needed that more so than me speaking to her. And so, whenever someone is speaking to you, listen first before responding. That is communication 101. Listen first before you respond. Listen, 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 listen. Because people are so quick to throw their opinions out there that they don't listen to what the person is saying. People get all up in their arms with what they believe somebody is going to say, for what they think that somebody is going to say. And I always say, don't assume anything. Don't assume anything. And I'm going to be frank with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything anymore on this channel. I'm not. And I am giving you this clearance now because the first three letters of assuming an assumption is an S. Don't be one. Praise God anyway. Because that's what you become when you have these bad attitudes and someone was just speaking. You could be saying, God, I need a compliment from somebody. Somebody comes towards you with a compliment and you start acting nasty towards them. God is always sending people to others from a prayer that they did, from a prayer that they had. And guess what? You're always turning them away. You're always dismissing the messenger. You're always dismissing the message. Why? Because you are in your feelings, because you are in your humanity, your humanness, and you're not being the person that God called you to be. And that is a loving person. That's what God called each and every one of us to be, a loving person. And when you think about everything that I've talked about today, it's all dealing with your perception of love and how you truly love people. When you love someone, you know how to do things the right way. You know how to do things accurately. You know how to listen before you respond. You know how to not manipulate and try to control. Boundaries is not a control thing, it is limitations that you set up for people. And we have to do better, because in this new chapter of your life, and there's going to be a lot of new chapters, trust me, it's about to be a whole new chapters for a lot of people, and they're not going to do the same things that they've done before. People are going to rise up like they have never done before. Children will leave their parents like they have never done before. Don't get it twisted. These young adults, some of them have a good head on their shoulders, but others don't. They do things irrationally. And it's because of that control factor. It's because you're not leading with love. It's because you're not being guided by love. And on this channel, we're all about healing. So, whatever it is that you're going through, you have to heal that first. You have to check that first. You have to leave that in the past. So, even today, if you got to start your day anew, start with a newness, do it, and do it now, because you can no longer continue to do the old things in a new chapter. It won't work. Bible talks about this in so many scriptures about how you can't put new stuff in old things, because it just will not work. It has holes in the plan that you don't even see. But again, we have to make sure that we are on point. We have to make sure that we have this alignment with God. We have to make sure that we are checking ourselves, making sure that we're not being ruthless and rude or manipulative to other people. We have to check ourselves, not nobody else. Now, if somebody else do check you, that means you're not paying attention to yourself anymore. It means that you have lost how to be self-aware. And we can't do that anymore. It's a new time, it's a new season, it's a new day, it's a new life for all of us. And even with what's happening now, going back politically, in our political climate, we still can change the course of things by showing love first, listening, and not controlling. But it all has to be led by love. It's actually one of the last commandments that Jesus gave to us. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and love your God with all your heart. I don't even know how much clearer that can be. He didn't say nothing about manipulating, controlling, nothing. Jesus talked and spoke with and in and through peace. So we have to do the same thing. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you have learned something. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please share the video with those that you know who need it. And you have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in.